Did we talk about weed science already? Yeah, we've talked about weed a couple times, and I'm sure we will again. Is the Earth curved? No. Curved Earth. Coming in here with your lies. I went for a bike ride yesterday on a flat surface. Why don't you explain to me how a flat surface exists on a sphere? Huh? That's right. Point to a sphere to me and say, here's the flat part. Doesn't exist. I walked to the store today. My feet were on a flat surface. Exactly, Mander. Prove that shit. It's a subtle curve. Well, I couldn't feel it, so therefore it didn't exist. Okay, just a second. Manzi, thank you for the 9 months. Gravel, thank you for the 14 months. Thank you, guys. Bleeping Blep says, how do you feel about the progression of meat substitutes, such as growing meat from a sample of the original organic source, aka the actual cow? I think it's super cool. I'm of the opinion that meat substitutes, science meat, test tube meat, fake meat, all that stuff, I'm all for it. I'm all for it. I think this is super good. When we're getting there and we're learning how to make it, then we run into safety issues, right? So if you're asking me, would I eat unsafe meat that I don't believe in the process by which it was made? No, I wouldn't do that. But when it's been proven to have been made in a safe, efficient manner where, you know, it's been shown to not have negative side effects on the body, I got no problem with that. I'll eat what the fuck ever. If somebody can show me that it's safe and it tastes good, I don't give a shit where it came from. China has cockroach farms for milk and meat. We'll be fine. Yeah, there's lots of ways. It's safety is more the issue than origin for me. If we can find a safe, sustainable, clean way to make something, I don't give a fuck where it came from. I use plant meat a lot now. I've seen some of the plant meat and it looks pretty fucking good. As long as it's edible, I don't care. As long as it's edible and safe, I don't care. Agreed. Although, you know, I know, Hazard, I know that you mean safe when you say edible, because otherwise it's not fucking edible if it's dangerous. How close is science to replicating magic? Sometimes situations can only be resolved with fireball or lightning blast, you know? Well, here's the problem, Tempestrous. I think when we disgraced Tesla, we killed our first Grand Magister. And so unfortunately, we had a chance to all become lightning mages, but we disgraced and sacrificed our one and only Archmagister, and now we gotta wait for the next one. So unfortunately, way to go humanity. We could have been magicians. How many digits of pi do you know? 4,683, but I refuse to say them all here because, I mean, it would take all day for the stream. Flock says, why is Milton scientifically better than you, Kappa? I think because I was the test run, and when Milton came around, they kind of ironed out some of the bugs. So I was the alpha, Milton is the beta test, and then whenever we get our third brother, they will be the finished product. That'll be the live launch of the Bop Bop. That checks out. As the youngest, that means I am the best, and my whole family would agree. I mean, there's no denying it. You can't. Let's put it this way: if they had nailed it, where they made me, and they're like, oh, it's perfect. They wouldn't have made another one, okay? But they did, because they're like, ah, oh, fuck. This one's whatever, and they had to make a new one. Is pizza and coffee a healthy breakfast? Yes, as a health authority figure, because I've taken a science class, I can say yes, pizza and coffee is a healthy breakfast. Eat up. Gotta say I'm a twin, so that might complicate it a little. Ooh, a twin is tough. A twin is tough. Maybe they realize the solution is that you need two in order to do it properly. Way to boost the eldest children's here confidence. I know, right, Alexis? Nice lab coat. Thank you. I even have goggles here. I'll put on my goggles again for a minute until I get a headache again. There you go. I got my science glasses on now. We're ready to do science. Scientifically, what song is the best song? Never Gonna Give You Up. That's why it's played so much. Safety first. Since Mjolnir can't be moved unless it chooses them to be worthy, and in the story of the Sword and the Stone, only Arthur could move it, does that mean Excalibur was actually made by the same beings that made Mjolnir? Wow. It sure does seem that way, huh, Social Bandit? Damn. I think you're right. I think Excalibur was made by the same beings. Wait. Okay. So the dwarves made Mjolnir. That means that the dwarves made Excalibur. Holy shit. Is all mythology all the same thing? That wasn't actually part of Mjolnir's lore? That's Marvel lore? Ah, fuck. Okay. So then I guess Marvel made everything. So Marvel created Norse mythology, and Marvel created Arthurian legends. Damn, Marvel's been around for a while, huh? That checks out. Yeah, Disney owns everything. We knew that too. I can't believe we didn't already put that together. Viking the Space Ranger says, what do you know about gut enzymes and bacteria? Not nearly enough. Not nearly enough. I know that gut enzymes and bacteria are a huge proponent of individuals' ability to or propensity to like be obese or put on weight with certain things or have certain complications and whatever, but I don't know enough specifics at all. It's something that I really, really, really want to know, and I feel sad about not knowing more about, and it makes me sad that science hasn't come far enough. I noticed that I'm a very gassy individual, and I bloat really quickly. When my body is feeling good, I've got kind of a flat profile. I honestly don't have much of a tum. I don't have much of a tum-tum anymore with all the exercise. I've got a relatively flat profile, but a lot of things cause me to bloat up really quickly. I fill up with gas and whatever, and I don't know why, and I want to know why, and I want to know how to modulate that. And the science just isn't there strong enough yet. They're working on it, but it's not there yet. Salt, too much salt. A big part of it for me is chocolate. Chocolate makes me so gassy. I eat a little piece of chocolate and my whole stomach goes and I just get super bloated, super gassy. Milk, I eat milk and cereal in the morning and it doesn't do that to me. It's super fucking weird, man. Makes you feel better. You don't look gassy to me. Oh, thank you. So something looks different about TechSmith today. It's probably my beard. It's a little bit longer than it was last night. Working on my digestion currently, quite some issues, lots of bloating, etc. We'll let you know if it's working. So my mother-in-law is a not a dietitian. She's a nutritionist, and she knows a lot about that stuff. But the science is still early. Science is still early. You have a tablespoon of milk in total, basically. But I'm talking literally, I have one M&M. And my whole stomach just... Part of it too is that I can't burp. I can't burp. I've never burped in my entire life. I can't burp. And so I really think that a lot of the bloating is the fact that the gas can't escape. But anyways, I wish I knew more. I wish I knew more about gut bacteria and enzymes. It's super, super cool. I think it's going to do so much for our health when we figure that stuff out. But I unfortunately don't know much. Tech, are you a horse? Maybe. You can't burp? Yeah, I literally cannot burp. Burping would help a lot. I think it would. But yeah, I literally can't. I can't. Ingesting cocoa can cause a surge of serotonin. The surge can cause your esophageal sphincter to relax and gastric contents to rise. Symptoms of chocolate or cocoa sensitivity can include stomach upset, bloating, gas, or cramps. Very interesting. Chocolate sensitivity. But it's not like chocolate is just the worst offender. There's a number of things that'll do that to me. Chocolate's just like the worst offender, but that's so interesting. Serotonin in some way might be the cause. Super interesting, man. We just call it a reverse boofing burp. Okay, all right. Is it just milk chocolate or other chocolates? All chocolates, Cypher. All chocolates. As well as other things. It's just that chocolate is the worst offender. Do you think that dreams could be a window into alternate realities? This isn't really science so much, but I think it's really interesting. Windows into alternate realities? I don't know. What's a reality? How do you define a reality? Right? You're there. Other people are there. Things exist. You interact with them. You are yourself. And that's real. That's reality. Where it exists, I don't know. How you define it, I don't know. But it's definitely a reality of some sort. However, now this is going to get a little bit morbid. It's going to get a little bit freaky, but this is something that I find interesting. Think of this, chat. When you are in your dream, you come into your dream out of nowhere. And you just experience the world. You don't necessarily have goals other than, maybe weird artificial goals in that you think you have. But other than that, you're just kind of existing in the dream, doing whatever. And eventually you die in the dream. And not only do you die, okay, who the fuck farted in here? The entire universe ceases to exist. It is complete obliteration of existence in the dream. Everything collapses. All the people that were there are gone. You are dead. Everything that exists in the dream is gone when you wake up. And yet, you don't wake up sad about the destruction of everything. You wake up and you're just like, oh, what a neat dream. You don't mourn the death and destruction of the entire universe every time you wake up. And I use that a little bit. I wake up spooked to shit. You wake up spooked to shit, but it doesn't ruin you. Like, imagine witnessing the obliteration of everything. Like, that would fuck you up so bad. But it doesn't ruin us quite like that, right? And I use that to kind of guide my like fear of death. Everybody has a fear of death kind of thing.
Oh, yes, Daddy.
Trying to be serious and deep here, okay? I try to use that as a little bit of a hammer to temper my fear of death, because if in a dream, if I can have 100,000 dreams and witness 100,000 extinctions of universes and die 100,000 times and wake up and feel totally fine and be okay, maybe a little bit weirded out for a little while, then the death in this world, I should treat the same way. So anyways, that's completely off topic, but it's a little bit of my own little philosophy on how I manage fear of death kind of thing. Do you have the dreams where you're in full control? Oh, yeah, every now and then. Okay. Damn it, Jurassic Park. Have you ever had a dream that you want to, you want them to do you so much you could do anything? Yes. I don't have a fear of death as I know it's going to be inevitable someday. I think those aren't mutually exclusive. I can know that death is going to happen and still be terrified of it. But if I can witness 100,000 obliterations of the universe in my dreams and not be too bad about it, then witnessing one more of this one is the same as the dreams. In some ways, is one way that I help manage that. Atema Zuko, would you be willing to touch briefly on the monetization of science and how that can possibly affect the results of studies that we see? God. Yeah, a little bit. It's quite a mired question, as I'm sure you know, Atom. So the thing is it's not necessarily a monetization of science, right? Nobody's getting rich off science necessarily. It's a one-step removed process where it is products and stories and power that make the money, and the science is the rationale that people accept for the validation of X product or X power. And so when science becomes the rationale, and science has to be performed by people and has to be presented in a certain way, then the people who do it need to get paid money. They need to survive. And now money exists in the equation of science. And if you want a certain rationale to fit your narrative so that you can sell X product or gain X power, then like I said, there's lots of scientists out there who have no interest in doing science. They have an interest in being the most right and the most best and the most successful, and money goes a long ways to do that. So you can get some really shitty scientists who will do a lot of shit just for money, which is really, really, really sad. Lots of science chills for business, shadiness only. Yes, actually, you know what? Here, I actually want to bring this up, guys. This is an example. This is an example. And I hate saying this. I hate saying this because for anyone who's a non-scientist, this is going to be scary, okay? This is going to be a little bit scary for you guys. And that is that an expert in a field who publishes peer-reviewed literature can give you complete fucking garbage. It is nonsense. It is awful. It is a lie. It is misleading. It is biased. It is damaging. And it has an alternative goal. It's completely false. But it passes every test. The person has a PhD. It's a team of 12 people. It's been peer reviewed. It's been published in a journal of renown. And it is 100% fucking garbage. You can take every safety you want to say, I want to find information. I want to become informed. I'm going to look up good information from a peer-reviewed source by an expert. And it's fucking garbage. I've been having some trouble with sleeping, right? And so I wanted to do just a little bit of research on cannabis and sleep. Is there anything that I don't know about using cannabis for sleep? I don't think there is, because people have been using cannabis for sleep for so fucking long that if there was a major problem with it, I think I would have known with the massive amount of research that I've done. But that being said, I've never done a dedicated search for cannabis and sleep for at least the last 100 years, for at least the last 4,000 years, Mander. We have 4,000 years of people using cannabis for sleep or relaxation or whatever. Like, we would know, is my thought. But I wanted to do a dedicated search anyways, okay? Now, I was looking up, let's see if I can pull this up. Okay. Okay, here we go. Can I get this as a link? This is from NCBI. This is a source that many people use. It is it's a short article. If ever you wanted to read it, it's short. Here you go, chat. Here it comes. Oopsie. Okay, why is it doing that? It's not a clickable link. I don't know why it's doing that. There's not a it's a weird link, but you should be able to copy paste that anyways. It's called Sleep Disturbance in Heavy Marijuana Users, okay? So here's the results of this study, chat. I want to read you the results of this study. The marijuana users showed differences in PSG measures, lower total sleep times, and less slow wave sleep than the control group on both nights. They also showed worse sleep efficiency, longer sleep onset, and shorter REM latency than the control group on night 2. More sleep continuity parameters were significantly worse for the marijuana group than the control group on night 2 versus night 1, indicating that the sleep in marijuana group was relatively worse on night 2 compared to night 1. The marijuana group did not show improved sleep after an adaptation night as expected. Withdrawal symptoms, craving, and depression did not appear to influence these findings. So, these are the results of this study, which says basically that cannabis can be detrimental to your sleep, and cannabis cessation can be detrimental to your sleep. Music's loud. Oops, I can turn that down. That's the basic results of this study, right? I read through the study and it's complete fucking garbage. None of the results in that study are anything. None of those results are accurate at all. What strain of cannabis though? They don't say. Here's a couple problems that I see. Design. A group of carefully selected heavy marijuana users were chosen for study inclusion and matched to a drug-free control group. There's a huge problem with this. A group of carefully selected heavy marijuana users. Carefully selected? That's a major fucking problem in a study. How carefully? What are the parameters by which we're choosing who gets to take part in this? This is a major fucking problem. I need to know what parameters you were using for this group of carefully selected users. That's not okay. Couple other problems that I saw. What was the sample size is pathetic, like absolutely pathetic. It's like it was like 17 marijuana users and 14 non-marijuana users. It was something insane. Yeah, control group is 14 people. The users group is 17 people. What the fuck? If you did 10 times more than that, I would still consider it to be a pathetic study. If you did 100 or 1,000 times more than that, I would still consider it garbage. That is so pathetic. You can tell nothing. You can barely draw a trend in this group of people. There's nothing to extrapolate on this. In reality, it's just a small party of friends and not a scientific study. Yeah, Kent, exactly. Now, here's the crazy thing. Okay, there's something else that blew me the fuck away about this. Where was it? There's something. I read this, and I don't want to paraphrase it. I want to tell you exactly what it said. Where is this shit? Although these findings are in a small sample of marijuana users, our results are robust and biologically plausible. Garbage. No, it's not. You don't get to just say that. You don't get to just say that. It's a sample size of 30 people, but our findings are very robust. No, it's not. No, it's not. Shit, I might have to paraphrase this because I can't find I should have snipped the little thing, because basically they did not fuck, I'm not finding the actual thing. I should have snipped out the words. They did not study to see whether or not people had existing sleeping problems. They did some very bare minimum looks, but basically they didn't look to see if people already had trouble sleeping beforehand, and they didn't look to see what happened after 2 days. Like, it's such a waste. It's such a waste of science. Was this test seriously only 2 days? Yes, it was 2 days with nothing looked at beforehand, nothing looked at after. It was just a 2-day study on a weird set of nonsense parameters. Well, okay, that's maybe a little bit harsh. Maybe the parameters are legitimate. I don't give a shit. It doesn't matter. There was so much trouble with the study that even if they had perfect parameters, it wouldn't fucking matter. So this is a peer-reviewed primary literature source by experts in the field, okay? And the summary, the result of this is cannabis can have a majorly negative impact on sleep, okay? And it's complete fucking garbage. Somebody could point to this and say, look at this, you know, by the check boxes of what scientific literature must accomplish, is a legitimate piece of science. And it says this, and it's garbage. It's not useful at all. You need to read the paper and see how useless it is. So this is why it's so dangerous to take things from experts, to take things from peer-reviewed literature. You need to fucking read it and understand it. And unfortunately, if you don't have a scientific background in order to analyze this stuff, then it's mumbo jumbo, and it's so much jargon that you can't glean the actual meaning from it. So you need to have like a fucking pocket analyst who can go and read these scientific papers and tell you the validity of the science that's being done. Because apparently being peer-reviewed, being published in a notable magazine, being performed by experts is not sufficient. And it's so sad. It's so sad. To say who paid for it? I didn't look. Not an industry-supported study. This was not an industry-supported study. Dr. Lesage has participated in speaking engagements for GlaxoSmithKline. Dr. Neubauer has been a consultant and has participated in speaking engagements for Sanofi Aventis and Takeda, and has consulted for Neurocrine Biosciences and Pfizer. Dr. Funderbunk has been a consultant statistician for NovaFlux Technologies and is the owner of Encompass Systems, an independent research and consulting companies. The other authors have indicated no financial conflicts of interest. So, basically, just be really careful. Be really careful, chat. There's a lot of stuff masquerading as good science and good information, and it isn't. And you need to read it. You need to read it. You can't just take the word. Was it actually Funderbunk? Yep, actually Funderbunk. Yep. So you need to read the study. Now listen, and I know there's a lot of people saying, you know, corpo doctor, we're researcher that works for big pharma. That's true, and that's maybe a red flag, but still, the science is the science. And if they had done this on 100,000 people, and they had more explicitly detailed the special criteria, and they had done a much larger study on either side, then the science stands for itself, and it doesn't matter what their resumes say, right? So anyways, it's so sad how we all have to go digging so far to legitimize what we read. Ain't nobody got time for that. Exactly, Patty. Exactly. Oh God. Anyway, I get very upset about this. I don't know if you can tell. I get very upset about this. It's so disappointing. Someone in chat wanted the answer. We could skim the surface. Yeah, absolutely. So tell us how you really feel, right? So anyways, don't accept the word of an expert. Don't accept the word of primary reviewed literature. Read it for yourself. Read it for yourself. Nothing is true just because a paper says it's true. The evidence is supporting to a degree. So go read it and tell how strongly you believe the science is supported. Look for the problems in the experiment. Every single experiment has problems, okay? And it's up to you to decide how well you think the study was done and how well you believe the results are supported. So, be careful, chat. Be careful. That one really upset me. Good practice in everything you're being told. Do your own research. Yep. True. Problem is so many people see the word CLDR, so they go to the first opinion they hear. Yeah, exactly, Alexis. And that's the problem with these papers too, right? It's like abstract. One paragraph of what we did. Results. One paragraph of what we found. And then they just ignore the rest of the paper. If you were to read the abstract and the results of that sleep disturbance paper, you'd come away believing what they fucking found until you read the paper and you're like, oh my God. They did 2 days on 30 people with no pre-screening about all these things and they don't disclose all this other shit? This paper means nothing. So, anyways, be careful. Be careful, chat. There's a lot of shit out there. Kale Corn, have you ever worked with laser spectroscopy? If so, which ones? Laser spectroscopy. Nah, I don't think so. No, I don't. No. I've worked with mass spectroscopy, optical emission spectroscopy, and infrared spectroscopy, but I've never worked with laser spectroscopy. I always walked by those big doors with the fucking warning, laser active, don't come in here or your eyes will burn out warnings, and I never went in those. I've fallen a little bit behind on my resubs. Adam was here for these 7 months. Thank you so much. Adam was here. March Hare with the 3 months. I like it here. Think I'll stick around. March Hare, thank you. Voidicat with the 9 months. Wowtech, did you deliver our Twitch baby yourself in that coat? How did labor treat you? What are we going to name the little guy? I was thinking Potato. Of course it would be Potato, Voidicat. And Yendar with the 36 months. Says science the shit out of it. Yendar, thank you for the 36 months, dude. We're trying to science the fuck out of things right now. There's a lot. There's no way we're gonna get to all the science questions. There's so many, and I talk so much. Are we skipping exercises today? Yeah, we might have to skip exercises. There's too much science to be done. Oh my God, Dominici, I just saw your message before we go to the next question. I want to know what the qualifications of the peer reviewers are. I know that has become a major issue within the law community because it's law students peer reviewing those works and they have no real world knowledge or experience. Yeah, Dominici, that's not as big of a problem in the science community as the law community, but it is a problem. It is absolutely a problem. I had my work peer reviewed from my master's and some of the fucking peer reviewers were a joke. So it is absolutely a problem. Scientists don't exercise, exactly. Also, Mr. Zoiji had a question. Eric Lentz has proposed that we could travel FTL with the use of a warp bubble or soliton that contracts space in front of it and expands behind it. His theory doesn't break any physical laws, even Einstein's. The problem is we would need vast amount of energy. Do you think we will ever harness enough energy to try this out? Eventually, I would think so. We just got to build a Dyson sphere, man. We got to go capture the power of a sun. We'll have energy for sure. But honestly, here's the thing, though. Here's the thing, Mr. Zoiji. We still don't have a unified theory, right? We're still having problem with gravity. So I think, until we have a unified theory that incorporates fucking gravity and isn't string theory, then I think we're gonna struggle. I think we're gonna be fighting with one arm tied behind our back until we get a unified theory. Gravity always got to bring us down. I know, man. We got to figure that shit out. Phenomtastic says, legit question. I like to partake in the gummies. Sometimes they hit me like a truck going 100 miles an hour, lasts for a good 4 to 6 hours, and other times it does nothing, even if it's from the same package. That's interesting. Phenomtastic. I've got a couple potential pieces of information. So let's see. When you eat an edible, I've said this a couple times, you're not getting the delta 9 THC, right? You're getting delta 11 hydroxy THC because it gets processed through your liver. I know myself, edibles lay me the fuck out. Because I don't know why, it hits me really fucking hard and it lays me the hell out. And the problem with edibles is the time that it takes to hit you and the way that your body breaks down the edible material has a lot to do with your metabolism, your current body chemistry, other things that you ate, other activity that you've done, that'll all affect it. And then, a lot of other people are saying in this in chat, which is the other thing I was going to say. A huge part of it is the quality of gummy. What's the brand? What's their QC? What's their testing? What's the distribution? Like, if it's a big old plate of jelly, right? And it's not evenly distributed in the jelly, then when you start cutting it into little figures or forming it into the figures, you can get some loaded with way more than others. Some might literally just be jelly candy, and others can be fucking loaded. So yeah, processing inequalities, that could be a huge problem. There's a lot of reasons why it could be different. It might be in your body, it might be in the gummy itself, and without testing, it'd be hard to tell which one it is. Interesting, the brand I use seems to work every time for me. Yeah, Curved Earth, if it's a really, really, really well-made gummy and you live a relatively routine life, then it probably is going to hit the same way almost every time. But again, body chemistry matters a lot. Like I said, I eat one chocolate and I gas up like crazy. So if I had a chocolate or not with my fucking edible probably will affect how I feel it. Okay, SN Labat says, can you talk about why, according to scientists, time travel will only be possible back to the point where the first time the machine is turned on? You know, I actually don't know much about the theory of time travel, Labat. I think, maybe it's like an anchor point. Like you could only ever go back to the anchor point, but I think a lot would have to do with what the theory of the time travel is. There's a lot of different theories of how time travel would operate, and I think the paradigm in which you're operating under, you're making your assumptions under, will probably decide whether or not you can go beyond that point or something like that. And I think that the paradigm definition would be the answer on why you couldn't go back. I think as soon as you decide how you're time traveling, that in itself would explain why you couldn't go beyond that point. One theory is you can never time travel backward because time is constantly moving forward, never backward. Again, that's one paradigm that you operate in for time, kind of thing. Let's see. Next, we got Awful Outlaw. What kind of regulation for beard hair do they have in a lab? Depends on the lab, Awful Outlaw. Most labs do not like beard hair at all. A lot have to wear like a hairnet on your beard itself, but in general, just you shouldn't. Short beard at best. So I would never be allowed to have this beard. I would not feel comfortable having this beard in a lab. Kanth has a question. Why do some people get bit more by mosquitoes? My goodness, why is there a tech rip? Why is there a rip? Okay, just a sec. I got tagged by something. I got scared. Your beard? Oh, for the beard? Yeah, probably the beard. Yeah, it would be if I went to work in a lab, it'd be tech's rip to the beard for sure. Why do some people get bitten a lot more by mosquitoes and other people not so much? A bunch of different reasons. Yeah, Nunshi's got one of the answers. O-type blood gets bitten a lot more. It has to do with the type of blood you have, the temperature your body generally runs at, the hormones that you're giving off, how much you sweat. There's a lot of factors that come into why you get bitten more than others. So the answer is a lot of reasons. Freight with a question. What are your thoughts on COVID-19 being able to bypass the blood-brain barrier and causing neurological damage? Okay, so I will first say I know nothing about it. Know nothing about it. However, what I will say is that viruses are notorious for bypassing the blood-brain barrier. Bacteria and stuff like that are so huge that the blood-brain barrier can kind of keep them out of the brain, no problem. However, viruses, the fully formed virus probably has a bit of a hard time getting past the blood-brain barrier. However, they're so tiny that they might get in there anyways. But the problem with viruses is that they can exist as simply fragments of DNA, and they hijack the blood cell, they hijack the cells in your body to reproduce themselves. And so a fragment of DNA has no problem bypassing the blood-brain barrier. That could probably be it. But that being said, I have no idea about neurological damage with COVID-19. All I can really do is speak to the potential for viruses and virulence factors and propagation factors of viruses bypassing the blood-brain barrier. That's about the most I could speak to. Shane's Almacy says, scientifically, who is the best killer in DBD? Scientifically, probably Doctor or Blight. One of the two. They use science. Blight injects himself constantly. So maybe Doctor, maybe Blight, not Killerface. Killerface is not a person. The guy's name isn't Killerface. I should read the lore on Blight one of these days. Okay, explain why munchies happen and why someone may fall dependent on needing to smoke to feel hungry sometimes. Yes, so Bomb Pop, this is a very interesting question. Again, I will disclaim that I don't know the specifics of this. This is a good question. It is super true. And even literally important and explicitly used in some cases. I will say that hunger is based on ghrelin, which is a hormone that makes you feel hungry or full. And I believe that cannabinoids modify ghrelin release, is the super broad strokes level of how THC affects hunger. I believe it modifies ghrelin. That being said, people who are undergoing chemotherapy often use cannabis for two reasons. One is that it helps with chemotherapy-induced nausea. So a lot of people use cannabis to combat nausea, but not all nausea is nausea. But chemotherapy-induced nausea is one that in many people cannabis can help combat. However, in addition to that, a big reason that people die from cancer is they die from the treatment of cancer. Like chemotherapy, it can make them feel so sick and so weak they never eat, and they often die of malnutrition is a big leading factor of dying from chemotherapy. And cannabis can help mitigate the nausea and induce hunger. So then they eat and they don't waste away so much. So that's a big reason why some people need cannabis in order to feel hungry, is in the treatment of cancers when they're undergoing chemotherapy. That can be a big factor. Oh, interesting. I tried to get my friend to start using cannabis when she was going through chemo. She said she wanted to be as lucid as possible through all of it. Yeah, Mander, my godmother, was the same. She tried a little bit of cannabis when she was undergoing chemo for her cancer, and she didn't want to be high for it, which was interesting because she got to a point when she was taking so much pain medication that she was really, really high on the pain medication, and she wasn't lucid anyways. And I was like, oh man, like cannabis would help so much with this, with the hunger and the nausea, and you're fucked up from the pain meds anyways. But yeah, so anyways, cannabis can help with nausea and hunger for whatever it's called, chemo. Why does Benadryl make some people sleepy and some people hyper? I actually don't know the answer to that one. Benadryl is an antihistamine, right? That's its general mode of function is an antihistamine, and I know very little about histamine. I would imagine that it has something to do with the way histamine interacts with a certain person's body, that blocking histamine makes you hyper or makes you sleepy. Cannabis can also cause nausea. It can. People who consume a lot very quickly can get the spins, which makes them nausea. The cannabis itself often doesn't cause nausea, but the effects of being high can make you nauseous. Okay. Next is, you have to consume a lot though? Yeah, no, greening out requires quite a massive consumption of cannabis. Nunchi says, so with the ongoing discoveries and study of black holes, do you think A, they really do distort space-time, B, they will continue to have a huge effect on the physics world? Do they really distort space-time? I feel like they have to, Nunchi. I feel like they have to, by virtue of the fact that they literally bend and stop light from moving. And light is kind of like one of those frontier studies, right? Where a photon is both energy and matter. And why when we consider the speed of light to be the barrier between where slower than the speed of light, it can exist as matter, but faster than the speed of light, it cannot exist as matter. And that borderline is interesting. And the ability for a black hole to slow down and stop and trap a photon is fucking weird, right? It's fucking weird. And so our concept of space-time definitely seems to be getting fucked with a black hole. If it's able to kind of fuck with photons and the speed of light and trap them, then I feel like that's gotta be fucking with space-time in some way. But disclaimer, I have no fucking clue. And will it continue to have a huge effect on the physics of the world? Yes, absolutely. The concept of modulating that the gravity is the mode by which black holes stop photons, and gravity is the least understood fucking force in the universe. Definitely is going to have a huge impact on the physics of the world. All right, next we have got what is the active ingredient in stuff like Mountain Dew that lowers a man's swimmer count, and why does it? I actually don't know what the answer to that is. Is that a real thing? Is that a real thing? Does Mountain Dew reduce sperm count? First fucking hit. Mountain Dew does not kill sperm. Mountain Dew does not kill sperm, contrary to the popular myth. There are two reasons why people mistakenly believe Mountain Dew kills sperm. Caffeine and yellow dye 5. These ingredients are Mountain Dew, but not in high enough quantities to kill sperm. Who knows, man? So apparently it doesn't do that, according to my 1 second fucking Google search. I think I remember hearing that from high school or something. Oh yeah, Ed for life. This was the question. What state of matter is ice at 0 degrees Celsius? Yeah, it could be ice would be solid, water would be liquid, and H2O at 0 degrees. You need to specify which state it's in. I believe it tends towards. No, never mind. That's just an inconsistency with our technology. I don't know. You'd have to specify. It can be at both. I thought the myth was that it shrunk the doinker. Maybe. The first hit when I Googled it, though, was does Mountain Dew reduce sperm count? Drink a bunch of Mountain Dew, it could kill some. Yeah, I mean, if you drink a bunch, there's a lot of things you could do to fuck up your sperm count, though. What makes hair start going gray? Is it just dead cells? Are those dead cells extra super dead after a certain age? I think it has to do with the production of melanin. I think it's the cells just stop producing melanin. That's the color in the hairs, and after a certain age, the cells just stop producing melanin. I think it's melanin. Yeah, melanin's the right word. Melanin's the right word. Yeah, it I believe as it gets older, it stops producing melanin. Why it stops producing melanin, I don't know. One part of cells getting old is they have a thing at the end of the DNA called a telomere. And as you age, the telomere gets trimmed and trimmed and trimmed. And once all the telomere is gone, it starts trimming the actual cell DNA itself, and it starts fucking up the cell replication. Leads to stuff like cancer, leads to stuff like collagen production, melanin production, stuff like that. And so if I had to guess, take an educated guess, I would say probably it has to do with telomere degradation as you age. Let's see. PM Titty, I once dissolved sugar with water and salt with water, not at the same time, but on separate occasions. That would basically make me a scientist, right? Absolutely. The fact that you've thought about it also, PM Teddy, makes you a master scientist. You should go write a paper on the effects of cannabis and how it affects sleep. It'll get published immediately. Also, you know what? On this, I had one holy fuck moment when I was in first year chemistry class that really made me go, ah, fuck, I love science. Now I'm gonna use metric units because I don't know freedom units. What's a liter? What's a liter to you guys? A gallon? Okay, maybe I'll use a gallon because the volumes don't matter. It was this cool experiment where they had a half a gallon of hydrochloric acid and a half a gallon of sodium hydroxide. Half a gallon and a half a gallon. And then they had a big beaker that was 1 gallon, right? And you think if you have a half a gallon of something, a half a gallon of something, and you mix them together, it should fill 1 gallon, right? And they poured these two half gallons together, and it just overflowed like crazy. It was way more than a gallon when you mix these two things together. And I was like, holy fuck, that's so cool. Literally, it took up more physical space. After mixing a half gallon and a half gallon, it made way more than a gallon because of the reaction of sodium hydroxide and hydrochloric acid. And that, when I saw that and it just go overflowing all over the top, I was like, that is so fucking cool. I want to understand that shit. So anyways, I thought that was really cool. That was one of the first holy fuck moments when I really wanted to be a scientist. Let's see. Next question from Minora Parva. This is a question I love asking people in science. In the 2014 Godzilla movie, the soldiers drop in near Godzilla while he roars. How close would they need to be for their heads to explode from the volume of the roar? And if they were close enough, why didn't it happen? I think they would need to be extremely close, and it would need to be extremely loud. Sound is a compression of air, right? Sound waves are compressions of air. And, to get stuff, if you're talking about like a glass, like a wine glass exploding, that's mostly to do with the emptiness of the glass being filled with resonating airwaves. That's why it actually explodes. Your heads are full of shit. So it can't reverberate around as much in there. So it would have to be a literal physical compression of the sound to cause your head to be fucking squished. And the volume required to make air compress so hard that your head got squished would be extraordinary. Would be absolutely, I can't even fathom how loud that would be. Eardrums burst for sure. You would die way before your head exploded. There would be a lot of other things that would happen before your head exploded. So the volume probably was not remotely close enough to make their heads explode. Sound magnitude dissipates very fast. That's true too. Like, you'd have to be really close and have to be really loud. Thanks, TechSmith, giving me abandonment issues, then telling me I'm full of shit. I was just saying. Is that why you're supposed to keep your mouth open if lightning strikes nearby? Probably, yeah. Red 7. I have never heard that, but I bet because you have eustachian tubes connecting your ears to your throat, and if you close your mouth, it's a closed system and it can pop. But if you have your mouth open, the sound can travel through you and it doesn't cause your eardrums to rupture. Freight says, do you feel that theoretical science has diluted the results or numbed people to results from greater science community? Tough question. For me, I say no. I'm going to say no. No, I think bad science, bad, shitty, biased, lazy science has diluted results and numbed people. When you have somebody who is a verifiable source, who is a legitimate expert, who tells you something that is patently false and garbage, and then later walks back their statement, that does more damage than theoretical science. Bad science and bad communication. I think those are way more damaging than theoretical science. I think when people hear a lot about theoretical science, they think, oh, neat, blah, 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 blah. But it's the bad science that then has to be walked back or is contested that really starts to fuck with people.